Well, welcome all. Just a few words at the start about what we hoped for from this week. If I may say this, that there are lots of ways to learn, lots of ways to teach, and there's a great deal more to education than just sitting in a classroom and being taught or learning. It's about people, it's about life, and I hope that in the course of this week you've had experiences that are new to you, and perhaps you've got a few ideas about learning and about what school's all about than you had before.
Stowe School is a boys' public school in Buckinghamshire, not far from the new town of Milton Keynes. Stantonbury campus is in Milton Keynes itself and is the home of over 2,000 comprehensive pupils. Both schools are good examples of their kind, with clear ideas of what they think they're good at.
You know, everyone was listening and things and stuff.
These third-year children are reflecting on their experience of changing places in the system for a few days.
Let's hear from you.
I think it's great that we were always the centre of attraction in the lessons, because we would always be with the teachers and they would come up to us and tell us what we were supposed to be doing and how they'd been taught and just generally what we were supposed to be getting on with in the lesson.
Yes.
We weren't sort of like the centre of attraction because we was all one big class, whereas the others were one little in bits, 4 in each class. So it's sort of a bit easier for us.
We followed the exchange in order to see the two institutions through the eyes of the children involved. What's different about the educational ideas of each type of school? Yes. Is one clearly better than the other or not?
It was stranger being integrated into a much larger community, because we're all used to sort of 587 people, whereas there are over 2,000. So it made quite a difference there, because here we know practically everyone. There we knew sort of 20 boys. And also we were calling all the teachers by their Christian names. That was strange, that. And we were sort of calling people sir, and someone said, don't call him sir, I think he's God. Sort of things like that. So that was quite different there, and that was nice as well because it made us feel much more relaxed.
It was a lot harder for us lot to sort of make friends because we were one class on our own, and if we wanted to make friends we had to go up and sort of talk to people ourselves, so we had to make the first sort of move in that.
When you did go and ask them their names, did they actually answer?
Some of them ran away, some of them no, it's different because they've only got girls in the sixth form, and the girls in the sixth form probably don't even take any notice of them anyway. We thought it was really strange because we're so used to sort of talking to boys and everything all the time.
Stowe School is relatively new by the standards of some boys' public schools. Founded in 1923 by an educationist with, for the time, liberal views, it set out to provide an education in which individuals were valued for their individuality rather than shaped into a mould. The 4 succeeding headmasters at Stowe have built on that beginning, and more than half a century later, its policy is broadly unchanged.
What we want is that the individuals should develop to their best, and in the course of their time here, I hope that if they don't already know what they're going to be good at, that they will discover it. And this may be academic excellence, or it may be sporting or musical or artistic. It might be a number of these things altogether. And we hope that they will realize that these are talents to develop, and that they will also realize when they leave the school that the world doesn't owe them a living. They've got to do what they can for the community.
This is the river. Anybody tell me the name of the river? Not the Stowe boys just now. The name of the river that goes through Rome.
Both the content and the style of some of the lessons at Stowe were new to the Stantonbury children, but they bore up well. This is classical studies.
Very ancient river. We've still got a lot of things to thank ancient Romans for in modern day. Anybody tell me that? Yes. Your name?
Kevin.
Kevin.
Art, Greek art.
Greek art, yes. Art. And what else? Something connected with art. Well, perhaps if I said architecture, what would you understand by
Buildings.
that? Buildings. Okay, well, some of you will have walked around Stowe to start with this morning and probably seen it for the first time. You will have seen that all our pillars and buildings are representations of some of the ancient Greek architecture.
Stowe was not built as a school. These facades were constructed for the pleasure of the 18th century owners when neoclassical architecture was all the rage. But they remain to form a substantial part of the educational experience the school offers, along with more up-to-date fare.
There are one or two respects in which teaching has changed in a school like this. You will find some classrooms in which they're all sitting round in a circle rather than serried ranks of old desks watching the teacher put things on the board. There is much more participation than there used to be. And also there is much more project work, so that they go off and do things looking up books at quite an early age. This used not to happen very much in the past. But nevertheless, yes, there is an emphasis on academic rigor, and I think that represents the tradition in which most of us were trained, those of us who are doing it, and we're also conscious of the fact that, for the most part, parents have sent their boys and girls here to achieve high academic standards.
So, I'm going to try and just teach you one lesson of the sort of English that the boys that you're replacing have been doing. And we've been studying this term something called Macbeth by William Shakespeare. Give me another thing that you may have heard about that he wrote. Othello. Great. Where have you come across that?
Seen it, I don't know where.
You've just seen it. What's all that about? Vengeance. Or revenge.
Like Twelfth Night.
Ye did indeed. Marvellous. 12th night. What do we call 12th night now? When do you... what have we just had in December? Christmas. And what do we do with decorations after Christmas? We take them down on the 12th night after Christmas, don't we? 12th nights. Well done. Julius Caesar. Marvellous. Julius Caesar. Where's that set? What's it all about? Who was Julius Caesar? Was he a rock star? Sorry? Roman Empire. Yes. Ancient Rome.
If it seemed rather surprising to this teacher that the Stantonbury children knew anything about Shakespeare at all, his teaching style and the arrangement of desks in rows was new to them.
Historically based.
Stowe continues to use didactic methods with a considerable amount of chalk and talk, and teaches some subjects which have more or less disappeared from the syllabus of state schools.
This is where we come on to a bit of Latin now. So we should be all at the bottom of page 5, and in the heavy type, we've got the Latin words. So the word for a dog is, what's the word for a dog? Is canis. So canine teeth mean sort of dog-like teeth, isn't that right? In Latin, you could actually alter the word ending. So if it's the object of a sentence, it does actually alter slightly. I could put puellam canis mordet, or for that matter, I could equally well put, in fact, puellam mordet canis.
Reflecting on their experience at the end of the exchange, the Stantonbury children were very fair in their judgments.
Going through the lessons, some, I admit, I thought were a bit difficult, and then some I found a bit easier.
Which did you find particularly difficult?
I thought the maths was difficult, actually. It wasn't so much difficult, it just took time to work out. And you kept coming back and you had to use sort of 4 sevens to get a certain number. And you sort of got about 3 or 4 numbers to go. And you do all this sort of sigma and square root, and you're going through paper like nothing, on rough paper. And all of a sudden you think, got it. And you sort of do it all up, and it's a number you've already done. And you just sort of keep going back in circles.
27.
Right.
28.
Right, so it's 28. So sigma 7 is 28. Now, what's that? What do we get then? So that's got me 4. But I've only used 2 7s. I've got to use 2 more. So what should I do? Yes. Right, add 7 and take away 7. Right, but do you see that we've written down all the numbers now using exactly 4 7s and any combination of those things above? What I want you to do is see if you can get to 10 by the end of this lesson. All right? You can copy down those, and there are plenty of other ways of doing those, and there are some less complicated ways you'll find. You sweating, Ben? Sweat, come on. What have you done here? That's 4956 divided by 7. That's good, yes.
19.
Fine. Oh, that's brilliant. What have you done there? Sigma 7? No, that can't be right. 28 plus 28.
Yeah.
That's 56 plus 7.
Yeah. 63.
Yeah, divided by 7 minus... you mean divided by 7 there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've written...
Divided by 7 is 9. 77 minus 7.
Yeah, that's very good. That's extremely good, because you haven't done those the easiest way. That's brilliant. Right, see if we can keep going for a bit.
We'll do 11.
Going home at the end of the day, the question of maths was given further just consideration.
It's just like our maths, really. Let's give us, different work that we haven't done before. Just trying it out. It's quite a lot harder, but after a while you get the hang of it.
We haven't used some of the signs like the Greek letter sigma. We never used that before. And we've never done 7s, like you're only allowed to use 4 7s. We've just done simple maths like multiplication and division.
And now it was Stowe's turn to venture into the unknown.
I'd like to just start by introducing myself. My name's Rob Skipper, teacher at Stantonbury Campus School, a comprehensive school in Milton Keynes, and I'm coordinating the exchange from the Stantonbury sort of angle, in the same way that Mike is coordinating it from Stowe. Talk a little bit first of all about Stantonbury, about the campus. Perhaps the first and most striking aspect of Stantonbury, which you'll realise, will be the sheer scope, the sheer size of the place. It is vast. I'm afraid many would say a little bit too big, a little bit maybe too informal because of that, but it's a very, very large school. It is what is called a community school. That means that it not only serves students, the campus, it also serves adult education, people who are interested in courses, and a variety of activities after school and at weekends.
Stantonbury Campus is a self-consciously innovative, custom-built, comprehensive school. It opened its doors in 1974 and has a reputation in the community for being informal as well as determinedly egalitarian. Teachers called by their first names and set days each month devoted to extracurricular events. Subjects at Stantonbury transcend old boundaries, so that a good proportion of what might be described as English, history and geography is simply called shared time. The preferred classroom arrangement is by group, so that mixing and sharing are enforced, and the teaching style favours discovery methods and active learning. At Stantonbury, the Stowe boys were scattered 2 or 3 per class throughout the third-year tutor group.
This words go in piece of paper, like you're the police or something.
You're trying to find out who did the murder. That was okay, but we did China. And that was boring. Well, what did you do?
Just talked, read a book.
The teacher talked all the time. That was about it. There's not much to do.
Mandy, what route did they take?
From where?
From England to wherever?
Yeah, into America. They went across the Atlantic to the Atlantic coast and eventually moved across into Florida and Maine. So you need to find Florida and Maine in your main American map,
We're mixed ability for all subjects, not just within shared time. So they learn to have a lot of cooperation with each other. They learn to be supportive of each other's needs, and they learn to understand the strengths within the group. Everybody starts to feel as if they belong and they've got a real significant part within the group, because everybody has something to offer. And I would say that goes across the whole ability range, and it's very successful.
What else? What else?
That talking in class is permitted, even required, is something that has to be learned.
I've just got all the sort of basic stuff. Like, did you bring any stuff over with you, like tools and that? Did you food and that? We did. We did. Well, I don't think I should.
Well, I think one of the things which is very important to us here at Stantonbury is that we try to provide a community in which all of us can feel secure, and in that security we can actually develop our talents, whatever those talents may be. When young people come in here in terms of the ethos, we have to have a system in which we don't put them all in uniform. We can't go through in education the schizophrenia of saying that everybody's an individual and we put them all in the same clothes. It's a total nonsense. And we have to have a curriculum which also may be broad-based, as ours is here for a core curriculum, but also means that within it there is room for individuals.
It must have been frightening, don't you reckon?
Like the Stanton